Hello guys, welcome back to another video where today I'm going to be showing you guys how to master I believe Dragon Trail Seaside. So this is personally one of my favorite tracks. I've been racing on this track ever since I've gotten it, and yeah, I'm just very excited to do this. This is for, of course, race 3 of the NAERA, whatever it's called. But yeah, this is for race 3. This is gonna be a track guide. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna explain how to master it, and then I'm gonna just have the hot lap without me talking. So here we go. So starting out the lap here, basically it's a very long rundown from the start finish line to turn 1 here. So what you want to do in this corner, just turn basically, and then what you want to do for turn 1 here, or turn 2, whatever you like to say, brake at the 100 mirror board, and then what you want to do is try to like run over those curbs there, and then try to get as fast as possible on the throttle, because it's very important for this exit, because it's also a long rundown, because this up and coming corner, not the one we're on right now, the one that's after this, is actually flat out. So, and then you want to run over the curbs here, and then this up and coming corner, you just want to go flat here, and then I believe I brake. Let me just rewind it here. Forgot when I braked here. I think it's really just usually. So for this course, it really just depends on how you approach it. It's very, very challenging to get it right, because if you brake way too late, you're gonna miss the apex and possibly run off the track, which will ruin your battles. So usually you kind of want to brake where this grass and sand when this grass transitions into sand. Usually you want to brake a little earlier. That's where I kind of like to brake. Sometimes I don't think you're going to be able to do this, but sometimes I think you might be able to brake when you like once you kind of pass, or just before where that red kind of concrete is. So then I wasn't able to hit the apex on this lap, which might have affected it, but usually you want to try to run over this curb, or just try to hit it with your right wheels. Usually I kind of like to run over, because there's really no result. This corner up and coming, this is also flat out. Most of the corners at this track are flat out. So you kind of want to start braking. There are many different braking or steering references, not braking, where that black concrete kind of starts to fade off, like to the right of that white line. You could also start braking just before like curbing starts on the inside of the corner, but it really just depends. I don't focus on like the small stuff, which will affect your lap time. If you don't hit this apex on the left side here, it will cost you like a couple of tenths, which is just absolutely extraordinary. It's really cool how you can just lose just a couple of tenths just by not hitting that apex, because this is flat out right through here. So just run over that curb. Don't run it over too much, because I believe if you get your left tires on like the left side of that curb and then you run it over again, you will go flying. Well, somewhat flying. You also want to hit the apex here. I would try to get to a little bit in the middle of the track. This lap was a little bit, like, not the greatest, but it was one of my fastest laps. You want to get to the middle of the track. Sometimes you even want to get to the right of the track, but usually, yeah, you want to do that just because of like the steering. Because if you steer more, your tire, you will lose actually speed. So if, say I turn my wheel 108 degrees through this corner, I will of course lose speed. So just be aware of that. Hit that apex, use all the curbing here, and then you also want to hit that apex there. I wouldn't hit the curbing, I don't think it's that useful, but sometimes you do. Now, here's one of my favorite corners I think in the game. Well, actually it's coming after this, but one of my favorite corners on the track. You're actually going downhill, which as a result, you're going much faster in this corner. You're gaining speed. Probably one of the fastest corners at this track. Not the fastest corner, but the approach speed is very fast. So usually you want to start braking at that 100 meter board. The 100 meter board is so useful at this track. At Blue Moon, it was very difficult during the races because people could knock down the meter boards. So yeah, so luckily it's on like that little stand right here, light pole, whatever you like to call it. So yeah, and then just try to hit this apex here, and then use all of that runoff there on that left side. And here's my favorite part. I think a lot of people call this the death chicane. Personally, this up and coming part, super cool. One of my favorite parts. I really love this when I first got introduced into the game, and you're about to see why. So, when you're approaching a corner, you want to make sure you're running over all of those curbing, because if you don't, you're going to lose like tenths, just like one of those previous corners. So yeah, just run over that corner, try to use as much curbing as possible. I don't know really what the track limits are like around here. I think if you go on that red concrete to that left side and right, I think you might get track limits. I'm not too sure. You want to hit this curbing on the outside, very important. And then you never try to pass around here. I know this is a hot lap, but never try to pass around here. It's kind of like a death wish, basically, if you try to pass, but it can also be a death wish if you're qualifying or practicing. You want to be careful, because these barriers are death. They're the definition of death. So you, of course, want to run over those curbs. Try not to get to the red concrete. If you get on the red concrete, you might be a little bit too close to that barrier, because those barriers are, yeah, just the definition of death. And then you might actually hit the wall here. If you do, I think you might have approached or exited a corner a little bit too, like fast or way too weird, but that's okay. Now you want to hug the inside of this corner right here, flat out, and then up and coming to this corner. This is also, I believe, one of the most important corners because it leads on to the start and finish straight. So you want to brake at the 100 meter board, and then start to turn in at that 50 meter board, and then really you just want to be confident with this, the throttle. It's very important. It's very easy to go off the track to the left of this curbing. You can actually hear, you're gonna hear in the hot lap that I was not confident on the throttle, because I only got this is I think my 5th lap of practice. So really, yeah, I think I did pretty well, but you want to use all that curbing. Sometimes you're even gonna be on that orange little thing. I think that is track limit, so just be aware of that. Just use all the curbing here, and then for this corner right here, it's flat out, no problems. But what I would do, use all that curbing, stick to the inside, and here you go across the finish line. That's a 120.4. I think during qualifying, because there's no overtake in time trial, I think we might be seeing some people go into the 119s, which is going to be very exciting. But now you guys will be able to watch the hot lap without me talking in the background. So, bye guys.